Howdy, howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I'm your host, Tony, and joining me, as he does just about every week, I've got Ethan.
Hey,
What's up?
I'm here, like almost every other
It's
week.
been it's been a couple of weeks since we recorded, and some stuff has happened to both of us. So,
I know.
uh, you got
I got
you got a new computer.
superpowers. You got like
Wait. Superpowers?
wait, what?
What kind of superpowers did you get?
I built a new computer.
Oh, I mean that's a superpower for
I was
sure.
I was just gonna go with a rambling with and ranting about some random stuff, and superpowers is the first thing that came to my mind, and you already spoiled the new computer, so I was like, well, I got to go with it now. Great.
I thought you were going to say you fell in like a cave of bats or like lemmings or something. And
Nah.
you got bit by a radioactive lemming, and now you have the power to follow everybody mindlessly. I don't know.
I do like your like when you said like I fell into a hole or something. It makes me think of Lassie. Yeah, really dating how old we are here, right? Uh, but it's always Lassie comes barking up, the generic trope of bark, 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 bark. What's that? Little Timmy fell in a well. Okay, let's
Yeah.
go save him or something. And I love how it's out of context. It's like little Timmy fell in a well. Okay, I'll get my harpoon.
Yeah.
No one
Like,
ever
how's that
considers
gonna
that
help little
joke. And I
Timmy?
love that. It's like, wait, he's in a well or a water well? It's like, wait, what do you mean water well or well?
There's a
Well,
difference?
I just love how I'm just making it even more complicated.
Yeah, you're convoluting these superpowers quite a bit.
Exactly.
So, how did you do? How was the experience? Is this the first time you built your own computer?
Second time.
Okay.
The podcast that I was doing for us before was on the first PC I built, like fully built. Like ordered all the parts and stuck them together. Built. Not like went down to didn't go and like do all the wiring and soldering and mining the copper.
No, I don't think you need to get that,
No.
into PC building.
No, that's like hardcore right there. If you build your PC doing all that stuff and it works and it's awesome.
It's impressive.
Well, heck, it doesn't even have to be like top of the line. That is impressive, and you deserve at the very least, you deserve like a meatloaf made by someone. Yeah. At the very least, a meatloaf, maybe a hug.
There you go. More than a cookie. Okay.
Yeah, meatloaf, more than a cookie. I want that on a shirt now.
That it.
Meatloaf, more than a cookie.
So
Maybe
how was the experience this time around?
It does not get any less nerve-wracking putting that crap together, man. I'm using a negative term right there, only because, oh my gosh, it does not get any easier. It just gets harder. Actually, it does get easier. Whenever I built the last PC, the newer hard drives that have been coming out in the last, I don't know, 10 years, it was capable of having at least one connected to it from what I saw on the motherboard. After I disconnected it from all the stuff where it used to sit, where the new one is. So all I had were like I still had I had a Barracuda hard drive that, one of those that has a spin up in that thing from when I originally built it. That hard drive actually gave out. That's the one that had our old podcast files on there, unfortunately. I did manage to back them up, and they're still on the newer hard drive, which I have not pulled out of that PC. I will get around to that, Tony. I apologize. But they're on just regular solid state drives. These newer hard drives, they're smaller than a RAM chip.
Yeah, they're tiny.
It's like I could break this just by looking at it. Then you think back to the big hard drives from like the early 90s or something. It's like I could throw this through a car and the car would need to be replaced.
It's
Not the
crazy
hard
how
drive.
hard drives are getting smaller and smaller, but graphic cards are getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
There are graphic cards that are bigger than motherboards now.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's ridiculous how big some of them are.
I do love that the graphics cards have gotten so big that cases are now coming with special adapters to allow you to install them. They still go horizontal, but now they don't like go horizontally into the motherboard. They instead go parallel, or was it perpendicular? Is that the word?
Yeah.
And you can install it like down. It's weird. There's some wiring stuff for it and all that. Like cases have evolved for that over time. And there's even like the video cards even have, they now come with supports. Like,
yeah, you gotta have like a kickstand for your video card.
It's the craziest thing. I'm impressed by it all, but at the same time, it's just, have we gone too far in one direction and not far enough in another? Because now it's like I'm sitting here. I'm sitting here with a 24 gigabyte video card, dude, or maybe a 12. No, it's 24. It's 24. It is the 4090, whatever that is. I
can remember when people were saying you'd never need more than like 512 megabytes of memory. You'll never fill that up.
Man, and, the 90s, right?
Yeah.
What was it, Bill Gates, or was it the other guy? I think it was Bill Gates
Steve Jobs.
Said, yeah, Steve Jobs. One of those was the one who said, yeah, who would ever need more than like 228 megabytes or something? And it's like, really?
Oh, I mean, I've seen people talk about that, technology, stuff like that for decades. They're like, you'll never need anything more than this. Like, I watched a video the other day of a guy who was like, these 3.25 inch floppy disks will never take off. Why would you use one of those when we have the 5.5s?
They were smaller and more efficient.
Yeah.
Here, let me blow some minds here. Think back to when Jurassic Park, the original movie, came out.
Mm-hmm.
The T-Rex on there. The computer data for just that. At that time, I forget how many hard drives this was, but the total was like 11 terabytes for that data alone.
I mean, that's a lot of data.
Yeah.
Now, 11 terabytes is still a lot of data. But I mean,
but at the same time, they revolutionized how movies were done with the CGI. Instead of making us do claymation crap, which is what they were wanting to do originally. I am happy with that. That's impressive.
I'm trying to think of what I had seen. I was watching one of the, Corridor Crew animators or VFX artists react or something. And they were talking about, I can't remember what they were talking about, but I remember them saying that the amount of data they used for one specific thing was like multiple petabytes of data.
Wow.
And it was like just for like water simulation or something like that on a movie. It was ridiculous how much data. If you imagine just that, it was one of the Planet of the Apes movies is what they were talking about.
Wow. I don't watch those. I have no interest in that series. It's weird to me.
I watched the older series back with Charlton Heston in the 70s.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the new ones.
I take that back. I think I saw the first new Planet of the Apes. I think. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I do know I've seen some of the older ones from 70s, 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea when they came out. And honestly,
they started in the 70s.
Honestly, I would rather watch the Simpsons version of those movies. Back when the Simpsons was still good too. But I'm really showing our age here. I need to probably shut up, right?
We're old, dude. We're old.
I mean, I props to the Simpsons. They came up with several jokes about Planet of the Apes as a stage play and let it go on for over 2 minutes for one old episode just because it was so good. The jokes they were just tossing out there.
Yeah.
Like one of the apes is breakdancing and it's like, Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius.
I lost track of where we were. We were talking about your computer.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm going to tell you right now, do not get yourself the Corsair 7000 series case.
No?
Don't. That the case alone is 33 pounds.
Oh, gosh.
This thing, after I put all the components in there, it's like 50 pounds, and I struggled carrying it over to where the old PC was. I picked that old one up, and I was just like, oh, this is a little baby now. It was so endearing to carry it because I spent a good amount of time working on this over the course of several days, putting this new one together, carrying it from point A to point B between bed and chair. The bed is the workspace for putting it together, and the chair is where I put it so when I can sleep in my bed.
They have me curious. I need to look up mine and see how much it weighs. I think it might weigh 15 pounds.
It was. What happened was I think I had ordered something. I know I was waiting on hard drives to come in. I ordered something and then I had to wait for something else to show up that was not planned for.
Mm-hmm.
And it delayed everything. And yeah, I don't remember what it was at this point, but this thing is running super quiet. Like I could turn off the cleanup, the audio cleanup from the AI I'm using for my voice right now. Yeah. And you might be able to hear it, but you'd also probably hear me go. So I'm not going to do that to you.
According to the Amazon order, mine weighs 23 pounds.
Oh, that's not bad. And that was already pre-assembled, right?
Yeah, I bought a pre-built.
Did that include like a mouse, keyboard, monitor, or anything?
It had a mouse and a keyboard and a sound bar. I've got the sound bar hooked up. I'm actually not using it as a sound bar. The sound bar that came with the computer, the sound quality is pretty. The sound quality itself was all right, but it doesn't stay connected even with a wired connection. It still drops the sound. So I just grabbed I just grabbed some surround sound setup that I had connected to the TV in my office, and I hooked that up to the computer, and it works fine.
Okay.
But the sound bar is still plugged in. It's got some RGB stuff on it, and I haven't unplugged it. But I'm not using the keyboard or the mouse that came with it. I gave those to my son so that he could use them when he's playing on his Xbox.
Speaking of RGBs, Tony, how about you tell me about Super Mario and Rainbow Stars?
This game, it just came out. It is a fan game developed. Who's it developed? I don't remember. I had not seen anything about it until I think last week on
This isn't one of those I've been
somebody,
like randomly telling you about, have I?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I've not seen anything about this one before this last week. It's from if you go to Twitter, you can follow super_starshi. That's STARSHI. They're the one who has been talking about it on Twitter. The demo just came out. It's the first world, and the demo takes, they say, between 2 and 4 hours. I played about half of it up to this point. It's really good.
I've sent you stuff on this.
Have you?
Yeah, I'm looking at the beach level right now that I sent you a while back, probably over a month ago.
Yeah, well, the demo just came out this last week. So
yeah,
I would
this game looks
highly recommend
really
you
good.
go download it. It's good. It's not great. Like, it does not hold up to some of the best Mario. Like, one of the things that I kind of think, having played through at least part of it, is you know how in Mario games they'll introduce a concept and it'll be in that level, and then they kind of every once in a while revisit that and just continue to build, mechanics on top of mechanics and
Yeah,
just sprinkle them in for the rest of, the game.
yeah,
This
yeah.
one seems like it once it introduces the concept, it like hammers that concept into you for the next few levels, and it seems to me like it over relies on some of its concepts a little too much. They're not bad. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not mechanics that are annoying to try to do or hard to pull off or anything like that. It just seems like they focus too much on a specific mechanic and
I'm wondering
don't
if
sprinkle it in every once in a while.
what you just described kind of sounds like the way that Super Mario ROM hacks work. They have a mechanic for a
Hmm.
level, and you're using that mechanic the entire level. Like, oh, in this one you can't drop what you're carrying, so you're stuck carrying this
Yeah.
item. Or this one you can't spin jump. Oh, this one you have double jump for whatever reason. Just sort of things like that. And so it's like for a whole level, and it's like how long is this level going to be? And sometimes you can be on a Kaizo version of Super Mario ROM hacks, and well, you can spend hours trying to finish that level.
Yeah. Um, this one pulls concepts from a ton of different Mario games, and the developers say that they were inspired by Paper Mario and the Mario and Luigi series. Um, haven't really seen much. There's not a lot of Paper Mario or Mario and Luigi stuff in the game. It's pretty much just a Mario platformer where they've developed their own visual style for it. All of the characters' sprite work, all of the level stuff, all looks pretty original. I don't know that they've pulled much, if anything, from specific Mario games. It's things like the jump mechanics from Mario Odyssey, where you can jump up and then you can dive forward. Um, or the spin jump from Super Mario World. And so it just pulls all these elements from just about the entire Mario series and kind of shoves it into one game. Um, it's good. Like it's really good. I don't know. It would not be one that I think people talk about a lot if it had been released by Nintendo themselves. They would probably say like this is like a game that they gave to all of their junior developers, their junior developers, and let them go crazy with it. Uh, I'm enjoying it. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not bad. I'm enjoying the heck out of it, but it does seem like it's either hyper focused or not focused enough on things. Um,
Okay, okay.
it doesn't have the polish that you would expect from like a top tier Nintendo developed Mario game. But it's free. It takes, the demo is between 2 and 4 hours long, so it's a pretty good chunk of content. And I think they're still working on more stuff. So uh, I expect and they've been patching the game. I've seen updates on Twitter where they've gotten feedback from people, and they've actually done a couple of different patches in the week that it's been out. So um, they're like listening really well to feedback and implementing things that the people who are playing the game are telling them. Uh,
Yeah,
so I mean,
so I don't know. I haven't played it myself, but I am very sure this is the one I've been sending you uh, the occasional video on here and there. It's been a moment since I sent you one, but yeah, I love the art style this guy is using. And if you look, there's a picture from his art style that he used on this game back in 2020, and then from
mhm.
2021 is how it looks now. Like he went from like a custom made Mario 3 style sprite to this Mario and Luigi style, but more detailed, I
Yeah,
guess, is a way
it's
expressive.
its own unique take on the Mario and Luigi sort of art style. And they introduce a bunch of new, like original characters. So it's not like they're just taking characters from the Mario and Luigi series and dropping them into this game. Like the first boss that you go up against is a Goomba with a do-rag, who's
He's like a little pirate.
a little pirate guy, and his name is Goombooter.
Nice.
So and the opening story, Bowser's doing Bowser things. Bowser is the main bad guy, but he gets what he calls the trio, and it's this Goomba, a bomb that has like it looks like a fire coming out where the fuse would be, and then
a Boo wearing a top hat. Yes, yeah. I'm looking at that picture right now.
Yeah,
the bomb looks really cool.
And in the game, it looks really cool. Like they have gone all out on the visuals for this game, and they pull a bunch of music from different series. And the neat thing about it is, anytime a song plays, down in the bottom corner, it tells you the name of the song, what game it's from. And there has been some original music put in here as well, and it'll tell you who wrote it and what the name of the song is and things like that. So they're doing a really good job of just like. It's like a giant love letter to the Mario franchise.
Yeah, it'll be a love letter until that C&D hits.
They seem to be pretty confident that it won't be C&D, but
Nintendo will find a way.
If this thing gets a lot of traction, I can't imagine that Nintendo wouldn't come down on them. So, but as of right now, it is still available. Super Mario and the Rainbow Stars. I'll try to remember to put a link to it in the show notes so people can find it if they want to download it and play it themselves.
Very nice.
So, but that's what I've been playing. It's not all I've been doing for the last couple of weeks, because since the last time that we spoke on the show, I had to go to the ER.
Yes,
I was having some major pain in my abdomen, and they ran all these tests. I was in the ER for like 4 or 5 hours. It was ridiculous.
Oh gosh.
They ran a bunch of tests. They did a CT scan, and they said everything's fine. The only thing that's wrong with me is my lipase levels are like ridiculously high, like 4 times higher than they're supposed to be. And they said you've got pancreatitis. They don't know what caused it. What they have no idea. Like pancreatitis is one of those things that it's not always easy to tell what causes it. But since that time, my wife and we've changed like my diet. I'm not supposed to have like high fat, high sugary, caffeinated stuff. So I love coffee, and I can't have coffee. I've been drinking decaf coffee for the last 2 weeks. And it's not bad, but it's not like I love IHOP's chocolate chip pancake coffee. It's so good. But I've just been drinking decaf Folgers with the creamer that I normally have. But I have to limit the creamer as well, because I'm not supposed to have a lot of fat stuff, and that's basically just,
the
high fat dairy.
Yep.
But we kind of suspect that maybe I have developed a sensitivity to gluten. And so I've been limiting the amount of stuff that has gluten in it. And like if I have things like crackers, or I had a donut the other day and my stomach hurt after I ate the donut, things like that. So I have had to have a major shift in my diet over the last 2 weeks, and that's been fun and not fun all at the same time. I'm eating healthier, obviously, and I've lost like 12 pounds in the last 2 weeks.
Good job.
I've got a follow-up visit with the doctor in a couple of weeks to see
all right.
if there's been any change. Like I still hurt every day, basically. So I take a bunch of ibuprofen. Well, not a bunch. Like I take ibuprofen every day to try to help take care of the discomfort that I'm having. But that is comes with getting older, I guess you could say.
Well, I hope you get good news at the doctor, because it'd be very weird doing the podcast without you.
Yeah.
I like how I just went right to the source there.
It's just been interesting to watch how things affect how I feel throughout the day. Like, uh, I can eat applesauce, that's fine. Um, I can't have like red meat right now because a lot of that has a lot of fat in it.
Oh,
I guess I could probably do like super lean beef, but I've just switched mostly to chicken and fish.
yeah. I was gonna say you're
Um,
probably having a lot more fish lately.
yeah.
Uh,
And we went and did our grocery shopping today, and I bought a bunch of gluten-free stuff that I can try. Like gluten-free Pringles are surprisingly excellent.
nice.
Um, and I got some gluten-free Girl Scout cookies that are like s'mores flavored that are really good.
Oh, did
So
not know that was a thing.
yeah,
Huh.
you can get like gluten-free Thin Mints from Walmart.
Is it really Girl Scout cookies if you're not buying it from a Girl Scout?
Oh no, they're called like Goody Girls or
Oh, the
something like
knockoff
that.
brand where you, so they can legally
they're
sell the
not real Girl
cookies.
Scouts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because they can't legally peddle their drugs in a store, so they have to. The store has to find a way to rebrand the heroin and stuff.
Pretty much. Yeah. So, apart from that fun, I played a little bit of Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Crown, and I absolutely adore this game. It is so good.
Remind me, is
Like
this the remake or something?
no, this is a brand new game that just came out
Oh,
last year, I think.
okay.
I think it was late last year.
It was. Is there a
I'd
remake,
have
or
to look
was
it
there
up.
a remake that was announced? What's going on?
They are the Sands of Time remake. I think is in a bit of development limbo. Um, it was supposed to come out, and then it got delayed, and
Then Ubisoft
I have
happened,
no I
right?
have no idea what is going on with it now. Uh, oh, sorry, it's not Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Crown. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is what it's called.
You forgot,
And
therefore it's
actually,
forgotten.
it came out in January this year.
Game of the year?
No, I'm not going to say it's game of the year. It's not that good. It is the best Metroidvania style game I've played since Metroid Dread a few years ago.
It is certainly a
Um,
game of the year.
it is a game of the year, and it would be high on my list if I were to rank things now. Like it's really good. They do a really good job with the map stuff, and they've done some quality of life stuff that I absolutely love, and wish more games would do. And this may not be the first game that's done this, but this is the first one I've seen where you earn these things. They're like memory tokens or whatever, and you can just at any point, as long as you have a memory token available, you can hit down on the D-pad and it will take a screenshot of what you're looking at and put it on your map in that spot. So you can go to your map and you can look at it and see what you were looking at to be like, oh, okay, I remember this place now. This is what I needed to get past this section. Like I couldn't jump high enough, or I needed to jump a gap that I wasn't able to do at one point. And now I can do that. So I can go back here and it gives you that nice visual rather than just a little, you know, picture, a tiny little picture on a map, a map legend. It gives you an actual picture of the screen that you were looking at.
That's actually
And
pretty awesome.
it makes it so much easier to remember what you were looking at and why you can't get past that section, but now maybe you've found the item, the weapon, whatever it is that you need to get past that section that was blocking you previously. Like the combat is super quick. Uh, it has a lot of stuff from like the Assassin's Creed side-scrolling stuff where enemies will flash one of two different colors, and depending on what color they flash when they're getting ready to attack you, you can either block it or it's an unblockable attack. So you've got to pay attention to that kind of stuff and either parry or dodge or jump out of the way. Um, Whatever. The voice acting is really good. The story's been really good so far. Um, I'm probably 5 hours into the game at this point.
I had my
But
mute and unmute mixed up for a second. I do apologize. I have made some comments.
Have you?
Yeah, they didn't get recorded.
Oh. Well, what kind of comments?
I don't remember now, but I do like
Okay.
the idea of like I can take a picture of this thing and I'll remember it for later on the map, and it's gonna be
Yeah.
like, why did I take a picture of this? I don't remember.
Well, it's pretty easy to remember. Like you'll be able to see very clearly, like the gap is way too big for you to get past it. There's a colored barrier that you need a specific weapon to be able to break the barrier through, things like that. So,
Okay,
um,
okay,
the boss fights have been challenging, but not so challenging that you feel like you're just bashing your head against the wall, and you hope that maybe you luck through a boss fight. Like I've lost a couple of them, but the game just drops you. If you die and you get a game over, it just drops you right back at the beginning of the boss fight, so you don't even have to go back to the last checkpoint to navigate your way through there and hope you get through there back to the boss with enough health or items to be able to renew your health and things like that. So um, it's so well done, and it seems like it just came and went, and nobody talked about it. Um, but it's really, really good, and uh, I hope we get more from the team. It was developed by Ubisoft Montpellier. Uh, I think they're
okay.
Canadian.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah,
Oh no, they're in France. They're in France. Sorry.
French Canada.
No, they're in France. France. They're in French
Yeah.
France. So. What else have they done? They did Rayman Legends. So
Oh, okay.
it's the team that did that, and the team that did Zombie U.
Okay. One of these games was better than the other. We'll just go with that.
The team behind some of the developers, probably I think from behind Good Beyond Good and Evil, are part of this studio as well. But their primary game that they have done over the years is Rayman.
Rayman's a good series.
So yeah, if you are curious at all about Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, check it out. It's really good. I found it was on sale. Why I picked it up. It was like $20 on sale a few weeks ago, and I think you can get it pretty much for 30 or 35 at most places right now. Um, but I highly recommend it. It's really, really good. But what
Okay.
about you? What have you been playing?
So I started and finished Stellar Blade.
Really?
Yes, this I think
You
this was
mean
a Korean,
Bayonetta 4?
if only. I think this was a Korean made video game, if I
I think so.
remember. And
Yeah,
it
I
had
believe
like
so.
had some different names, something Eve, and now it's Stellar Blade. Pretty much it's somewhere between a Devil May Cry and I guess like the Souls games where you have your resting areas, but you also like level up abilities. You have you gain certain attacks. The only difference is you're not getting any new weapons.
Hmm.
And the game, for the sake of getting explaining around it appeals to the male audience for the eye candy.
Yes, that
Very much
is
so.
that is what the I think that's pretty much what the marketing around the game was based on, was the character and the way the character looked. Um,
Yep.
and
Yep.
there were articles all over the internet about this game before it came out.
I'm not going to say the game is like amazing or great, but it's good. I like it. I'm enjoying it for what it is.
Yeah.
And like that world that you get to explore on there, it's interesting. I want to know more about what's happening there. I'm trying my best to not talk about too much on it because I don't want to talk about any spoilers. I did, however, get the true ending, like the best ending possible, by dumb luck.
By dumb luck.
So you can rush the game and get an ending. There's good ending, bad ending, and best ending. I guess ending, bad ending, and then I think they added a fourth. I don't know. Either way, it's like if you rush the game and don't do a certain thing, you get locked into the bad ending thing or something. Or no, you get locked into an ending. If you make there's a certain choice you can make, and that changes your ending as well. And and knowing how it worked, I was like, okay, I need to make a save here, back that save up, get the ending here, and then I can come back. And I died during the boss fight, and it put me right back in my camp. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to go through that long cutscene again, or it's going to let me skip it because I've already been through there, and then I can just make the choice and switch. So I updated my save. Went back in after the update of the save, and it locked in my first choice. I had no choice on there anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck on what the good ending, true ending, whatever you want to call it, which I didn't know at the time. So I was like, you know what, this is fine. I'll take my ending and be happy with it.
There you go.
But pretty much a hack and slash thing. Like I said, it's think of it like Devil May Cry, sort of. You lock on your enemies, you hammer them down with certain combo attacks, and gain experience from that.
Yeah.
If you get killed on there, you just revive at the last place you were, like nothing ever happened. It's not a big deal.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks really, really good. I'm not sure that's the kind of game I could get away with playing in the house with
not
kids.
not at all. The second you start unlocking outfits on there, you're toast. In fact, so, I think she starts out in what I'm going to call the Zero suit.
Yeah, it looks like.
And then like once she's out, then it turns into the green type on there. It just, yeah. And there's a new game plus where thank you Xbox for the update on my PC suddenly. There is a new game plus that was added. I'm pretty sure. I think that added something. But you go through that and you get more outfits and stuff to unlock, and they're like alternate versions of stuff you already have. So it's like, oh, okay, this was green before, now it's red. This looks way better. I like this. Stuff like that. And New Game Plus also gives you access to hard mode, which, if you want to do that. Or you can just replay the game again. And New Game Plus unlocks additional level ups on everything. Or not everything, but a bunch of stuff. So it's like your basic abilities. You now have more power to unlock on those to make them even more powerful.
Yeah.
And I am 5 levels away from maxing out, or 5 SP points away from maxing out the entire thing. Which I did in my original playthrough, and now here we are in New Game Plus, and it's like, all right, get these new ones, and I'm about halfway, a little more than halfway through New Game Plus.
I mean, it sounds like you're enjoying the game. Like, I watched a little bit of it the other day. It looks like the visual stuff just looks amazing, and the voice acting sounded really cool.
Yeah, everything is really well done.
I didn't really watch long enough to get a sense of exactly what the game is, but now that you've mentioned it's sort of like Devil May Cry, I was thinking more like Bayonetta, but that's just obvious.
The Bayonetta would be a lot closer to the explanation. Yeah. And that would be a lot closer because the Bayonetta stuff, you could revisit an area and it's like more of an open world at that point to explore.
Yeah.
And some areas are just they're not open world that you can visit. They're just straight shot through there. So it's just kind of, okay, I've done this. Go here, do that. Okay, now I need to go back over here. Oh, let's explore. Hey, a secret area. Okay, cool. That sort of stuff. So it's really happening on there. So everywhere has got some replayability, and there is a fine point on there where they're like, hey, this is a point of no return. Yeah. One thing that I found really weird with this game, 49 collectible soda cans.
Hey.
Of various flavors. Some alcoholic, some not. And I don't understand why they went with that.
It makes you think, it makes you talk about it, you know. It brings attention to it, I guess. Are they themed? Like, can you tell that they're themed after real world sodas?
I believe they are. Stellar Blade soda cans. Oh gosh, do not play a video, IGN. I swear. So there's like one of them's called like Elixir Carrot, and from what I can tell with her holding in this picture that I'm trying to send you, hold on, copy. You know what? Just copy image. So I'm going to send this directly on Discord to you.
Okay.
Nope, ignore that.
That's a YouTube link.
Yep, ignore that. Makes for great content, me yelling all this. There we go. Tell me that
makes me think V8.
So I'm wondering if Elixir Carrot is like, it even says vegan in like tiny text on there. Elixir Carrot. If I can spell juice.
That outfit's not bad either. Like,
no,
that would be an okay outfit.
Not all of them are that. You know, they might not be real. I don't know. Because I'm not finding anything on this other than just regular carrot juice or Stellar Blade.
Well, no, I'm just thinking it's supposed to look like a real world soda, but it's not actually. Like, they're not putting Pepsi cans in there, but there's something that clearly evokes the look of and feel of Pepsi.
Well, there's like one called Johnson's Highball Ginger, Potential Frost, the Haven Milk Tea, Nectar Cranberry, Newfoundland Dry Zero, Cryo, and then Cryo Zero or something. Like they might be real. Maybe they're part of. Maybe they're like Korean drinks, and maybe that's why they can be in the game without restrictions to any copyright or something. I don't know.
That could be.
But there are 49 of those things to find, and you unlock various things for finding several of them in succession. The ultimate thing is an outfit. Not going to say anything more on that. But like this stuff you find, it's like, oh, I can only carry 2 stun grenades. Now with this, I can now carry 3. So
because I have Nuka-Cola, I can carry 3. Exactly.
So it is worth finding them for those kind of reasons. Okay. And
like, I don't want it to be a Korok seed situation.
No, not at all. I mean, there's only 49 cans across this entire game. If there were Korok seeds, it'd be every other step. It's like, ha ha ha, you found me. And after 2 seconds, you would pull that sword out and start cutting down the Koroks.
Ha ha ha, you've got diabetes after drinking all this soda.
Okay, well. Yep. So, probably don't get this game for full price if it's like 60 or 70, but if you see it for, I'd say 30, might be worth it, if not less.
It's one of those
for
ones that I probably,
$30,
once
you're
it gets down
getting
to
a
like,
good number of like, entertainment out of
yeah,
it.
I think once it gets down to like $20, that's when I would maybe pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Um,
And
there are a few games that I've been waiting for to get to that point.
there are some things in here that have quite a bit of challenge to it as well. Nothing that's like impossible to do. You just, whenever you get there, you're like, oh, this is a little tougher than what I'm expecting. Or maybe you're not leveled up enough, or maybe you haven't upgraded your, I'm going to call it the Estus flask for the Souls fans out there. Maybe you haven't upgraded that enough to
Yeah, I
have
have no clue
enough
what that is.
heals. That little bottle you drink your juice from to recover for
Mhm.
free. Yeah, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, I think I don't know if I mentioned it, but I have started up Elden Ring. Stayed on the track here of Souls-like games.
Yeah, that is the ultimate Souls-like game at this point.
Yeah, more or less. I know I've defeated one boss and encountered a second. And
Okay.
Stuart said, I am not ready for that guy. And I said, I'm going to fight him anyway.
Do it anyway.
First encounter with him. This guy, I don't know what his name was. He has like two really long, large arms, and then all these tiny hands and arms coming off of it. And
I can't even imagine what that looks like.
it weird. That's the only description. It weird. Fought him, got him to half health. Got the cutscene to play where he punches a dead dragon in the face or something, rips off
where
the
you
head.
clearly entered phase 2.
Yeah, phase 2. He rips the head off, or no. He rips off the arm, the left arm, and then punches this dragon in the face, rips the head off of its corpse, and then attaches it to where the arm was, and now it's his.
That's weird.
So he's got an arm that breathes fire.
I'm not sure that would really work, but sure.
So this guy I've never fought, first encounter, got him to half health, and was doing okay, but he destroyed my little summon. I summoned a jellyfish to fight with me.
Okay.
You would think that's like the craziest thing you could do, or why would you do that? That thing spits poison, poisons my enemies, and can take a beating. That thing is a lifesaver. But right now we're trying to explore more of the world to get me better equipped to face those troubles I'm gonna encounter.
I mean, that seems like the gameplay loop for a Souls game.
That, and apparently something to do, if I kill this guy, it's like if I kill him, great, fine, whatever. But if I don't kill him, there are people I can encounter and have conversations with that'll be different than if he were dead beforehand.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's, kind of risk reward deals going on.
Yeah.
But that would be it for me.
Okay. It's been a busy 2 weeks for the both of us.
Yeah, really has.
It's been a busy week for Gearbox. They released a movie. And it's bad.
Well,
at least apparently. I haven't seen it.
So I haven't seen it either. My girlfriend went and saw it, said it was bad. Actually, where's my phone? I'll tell you exactly what she said. Get over here.
We're talking about the Borderlands movie.
If you're just now tuning in.
Yeah, apparently the Borderlands movie is pretty bad.
She said it's kinda okay. Not great, but not terrible.
Well, I think the part of the problem is, and we've seen this a lot with a lot of adaptations over the last years that they openly admitted they hadn't. They don't know anything about the game. They're making their own version of Borderlands that has nothing to do with the games. Um, and so you have these characters that are supposed to be in their mid-20s and they're played by 50-year-old people. You replace the one super memorable character from the games with Jack Black, which in and of itself, maybe not a bad thing.
No, he sounds pretty close to Claptrap.
But you could have kept at least that one part of Borderlands, the one character that everybody either really loves or really hates. I think more people like Claptrap than hate him. He's a clever character. There's no reason that they had to replace his voice with Jack Black other than to say Jack Black is in the movie.
Right. And not all Claptraps have to sound the same either. They're all their own individual robots, as far as I can tell. But whatever. I think like a lot of people are just mad because these are how do I phrase this? They're supposed to be based on characters from the games, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they're like nothing like their characters in the games. We've had commercials with characters that look just like their characters in the game. And I think one of them even sounded like their characters from the games. These are the video game commercials. I think one was for a VR thing a while back. So it's like not impossible to do that. But it's like, oh, we have to get the Hollywood team over here to look and play these parts. And it's like we're past the days of the Super Mario Brothers movie. We're past the days of the Street Fighter movie. I love the Street Fighter movie, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't.
I'll not have you talk bad about the Street Fighter movie.
Oh no, the movie's good. It's just you compare that to the video game, and it's just like, really, guys? Really?
Oh no. The movie is terrible, but it's terrible in a great way.
Yes. So
See, I think part of the problem is they tried to take a game that is clearly M-rated and is built on the violence and the.
It's supposed to be violence and humor.
Yeah, and they toned it down and took what should have been an R-rated movie and made it PG-13.
Yeah, and I think one of the characters is supposed to be Tiny Tina.
Yes. And
like even the voice actress was like, "Oh, I took inspiration from Harley Quinn," and just really you took inspiration from a different source than the source material, lady.
Yeah, you should have taken inspiration from Tiny Tina, who is a great character.
Great. I mean, she's a character. She scares me.
Well, I mean, I think that's the idea. But apparently the movie is doing so bad that it's going to be put on streaming services by the end of the month. So it'll have been out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
In the theaters. And it's not making any money. Like, it is straight bombing in the theaters, but they're going to try to put it on streaming services and hope that people will rent or buy it to watch it at home.
Hey, I know what we're doing next movie night. Not watching this movie. Or are we?
Well, if it's out, maybe.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I'm not buying it.
I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to rent it or buy it unless I have a reason to, and I don't see a reason to.
Throw it on HBO Max and maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah, we can do that. Watch party version of it.
There you go. The opposite, though, of a bad Borderlands movie is a game that has just blown up in popularity, and that is Black Myth Wukong, which came out, was it last week or the week before that? It
came out on the 19th, so actually 20th.
Oh, yeah, so it's only a few days.
Yeah, it came out 4 or 5 days ago at this point. It said it came out on the 19th. It didn't activate until like midnight that time.
Yeah, the developers have said they've already sold 10 million copies of the game in like 5 days.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it has become the most concurrently played game on Steam. Within like 48 hours, there was at one point 2.2 million people were playing the game. at the same time, and
Hmm.
that's because the game has just is insanely popular in China, which makes sense. It's a Chinese game. I think it might be developed by a Chinese developer. I don't know that for sure.
And it's based
Um,
off Journey. I think it's Journey to the West. I think is what it's
yeah,
based on.
the which is the
Which
thing that
I,
Dragon Ball is based off.
yes, I was getting there. Oh man,
It's a
I,
hugely popular myth,
yeah. Even I have a copy of the game. I haven't started it yet because I have other things I'm trying to finish.
and it looks great. Like it looks incredible. I haven't played it yet. I'm wondering if there's a demo out for part of it, maybe that I can check it out.
Um,
I've looked at some stuff. The bosses look incredible. The visuals look amazing. The game
it,
just looks like it's a lot of fun.
it looks really good. The apparently, like, you defeat a boss and you gain the ability to turn into that boss for other stuff.
Okay, so a little
So
bit of Mega Man going on.
yeah, and I think the main story part of this is Wukong or something. I think his original monkey character. Uh, he gets his soul broken up or something. I forget what the details is. And so you're going around as like his grandson, and you obtain his soul shards or whatever by beating the bosses, and you're becoming the new Wukong. You're him, but you're not him. You're you at the end of the game. It's really hard and weird to explain, but pretty cool story plot there.
So yeah, the game has just blown up in popularity, and of course, there was at least one outlet that took advantage of that and was like, "Well, we're going to spin this a little bit," and they posted a story about how the game had lost 2 million players over a few hours um, after it had exploded in popularity, and the
Yeah,
reason is because the people in China that were playing the game went to sleep.
I love that.
They
It's
were tired.
just, it's like, okay, you're really reaching for a reason here, and it immediately backfired on you.
You're trying to spin a story that's not there,
And I do
and
love
it
that
was
it's just, well, it's like, yeah, we went to sleep. We woke up and started playing it again. What do you want?
yeah. There are games that have lost their player base, and it was because the game is just bad. This is not one of those games. This is a game that people are seems to be genuinely loving, and the only reason the player count dropped was because the people that were playing it went to sleep, and it hasn't been as popular over in the West as it has been in China so far.
Yeah, it's not really part of our uh, mythology stuff over here as much as it is over there. It's still a really
Yeah.
good looking game and picking up popularity, and we'll probably get a lot of people to go and actually read up on that story, depending which translation they find to read.
Oh, I'm sure. Uh, but it just goes to show that people will take and try to find something to spin a negative where there isn't a negative, and they're just trying to get those rage clicks out of people.
Kotaku. Ah, sorry.
No, it wasn't Kotaku.
I know. I'm kidding.
They did their own attack on this game.
Oh, really?
It had nothing to do with. I'm pretty
I
sure there
gotta
were.
look this up now. Hold on.
I'm pretty sure if there's a game out there, Kotaku's going to attack the developers. I think this is one of the games where I saw one of the writers for Kotaku was like, all of my hard work trying to get people not to play this game was for nothing. Um, so it's been crazy to see the news about this game over the last 48 to 72 hours. But it looks for all intents and purposes, it looks like a great game and is well worth the attention that it's getting. Uh, a game that I would have loved to have seen get made was Crash Bandicoot 5. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
Toys for Bob did Crash Bandicoot 4, and that game was very fun. I loved Crash Bandicoot 4. And before the Activision and Microsoft merger, they were working on pitches for a couple of different versions of the game. And I don't know if you remember, but earlier this year, Microsoft actually was trying to shut down Toys for Bob.
Yeah, how dare
And
they?
they closed the offices, but Toys for Bob was able to spin themselves away from Microsoft, and now they're an independent studio again. They're partnered with Microsoft for their next game, but they are not a Microsoft studio or an Activision studio anymore. They're their own separate independent entity. But there were two different pitches that they were talking about for Crash Bandicoot 5. The first one would have seen Crash return to the Academy of Evil, where plot elements from Crash Twinsanity would be explored again. So we'd get like a sequel or a spiritual successor to Crash Twinsanity. And then the other one was a game that would have seen Crash and Spyro team up together for something, which I would have loved. Like, and if there's a developer that I want to see do Spyro and Crash together, it would be Toys for Bob, because they handled both of those franchises, the last games that were released for both of them. With the Spyro trilogy remake, the Crash trilogy remake, and Crash 4.
That reminds me, I still need to finish Spyro 3 on that trilogy.
So I love Toys for Bob. I've loved the Skylanders games. I want to see them continue to do something.
Yeah, I would. What do you want to see them work on?
I mean, a character-driven 3D platformer. That's what they do. Like, give us a Crash type character or a Spyro type character. Come up with your own. Like, do like the Yooka-Laylee developers did, and make that game just with different characters. And
true. Very true.
Give us whatever this Crash Spyro thing would have been, but make it a wombat and a Gila monster or something. I don't know. I just want to see them do something like that again.
How is that your default monster to go for?
Those were the first things that were similar to a bandicoot and a dragon that I could think of.
How do you spell that? Gila monster?
Gila.
I have to see what one looks like. It's a lizard.
It's a lizard. They're black and orange. Yeah. They have like
it's like a cute little version of oh god, what are those called? They call them dragons. The big
Komodo dragons?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, I saw a video the other day where a Komodo dragon swallowed an octopus in like 10 seconds. Whole.
They're dangerous, man.
Oh yeah. You don't want to mess with a Komodo dragon. But I'm kind of sad that we're not getting. It looks like we're not getting another Crash or another Spyro right now. But Toys for Bob is working on something. We just don't know what it is.
We find out they're remaking. Yeah, I'm trying to think of an old game series, and nothing's coming to mind.
Sly Cooper was the first one that came to my mind, but I don't think Naughty Dog is going to let that one go.
No, that'd be a good one to do, though.
Is it Naughty Dog or is it Insomniac?
Insomniac.
I always get those mixed up.
Either way, I think it's Insomniac, but it doesn't really matter. Man, I don't know where I'm going with this now.
I think Sly Cooper was Naughty Dog, because there was some Sly Cooper stuff in Infamous at one point, I think.
No, Naughty Dog. Nathan Drake. That's what, Insomniac or Naughty Dog. Oh great! I'm gonna have to look this up.
I'm looking it up right now. That's Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch did Sly Cooper. I knew they were tied with.
As soon as you said Infamous, I should have caught that. Dang it. All right. We got it.
I knew we'd get there.
That's what we need. We need Toys for Bob to remake Infamous 1 and 2.
Why don't we just get Sucker Punch to remake Infamous 1 and 2?
Because they won't do it. They're not doing it. That's why we need Toys for Bob.
Oh yeah, they're doing Ghost of Tsushima right now. I mean, yeah, you can keep making that. Just let somebody else do Infamous for a while. Yeah, let's do that. You guys, Sucker Punch, keep doing Ghost of Tsushima. Let's let somebody else take Infamous. Or Sly Cooper. Give Toys for Bob Sly Cooper if you're not doing anything with it.
Bring back more of the mascot characters.
I
Those,
mean, Sony's getting ready to do another Astrobot game. We need more 3D platformers with characters like that.
Astrobot's like really replacing Sackboy.
Yes, Astrobot seems to be like I am day one. I will be picking up Astrobot when it comes out. Those first two games were incredible. Like
I'm not, but I do enjoy that they exist.
hands down, they are up there with some of the better 3D Marios for me. I absolutely love those Astrobot games. They're so good. That one in VR, it doesn't need to be in VR, but you get so much more immersed into those levels. And they do, I really like the stuff they do where you have to actually like
tilt your
be a
head and
part of
look.
the level and you have to move your head around and get up and lean and do all kinds of stuff to be able to see things. It was so good. Astrobot will not be VR. It's not coming to VR, PlayStation VR 2. It's just going to be a regular PS5 game. But I wouldn't have, it would have made me want to buy a VR 2 just for that game.
I have one. It's still in the box. I put it back in the box after trying it. Anyway.
Oh. And then the last thing that I have that I wanted to just mention is we've got 2 new Lord of the Rings projects coming this year, and I am extremely excited about both of them. Rings of Power Season 2 is coming out later this month. I think it's the 29th or the 30th is when Season 2 for Rings of Power starts. And I'm very excited for that. I enjoyed Rings of Power 1. It is one of those things where it is on its own, it is a great show. I loved it. It is not a great adaptation of Middle Earth. But it's a good show and I like it. And I just like that we're exploring more Middle Earth, even if it's not specifically things like, because they had a very limited set of stories that they could pull from. It was basically just the appendixes from the Lord of the Rings. They couldn't use the Silmarillion, so they're trying to incorporate things from the Silmarillion without actually incorporating things for the Silmarillion, and they have to shrink the timelines down because stuff that they're doing would have normally been thousands of years of history in Middle Earth, and you can't do that with a TV show like this. So they're shrinking that down. They're doing all kinds of stuff. They've introduced their own original characters, which of course Peter Jackson did with the Lord of the Rings anyway. And those are held as the gold standard for anything Middle Earth still, and for good reason. But I like Rings of Power Season 2. I like what they're doing with Sauron and telling the story of the rings, even if some of it is not canonically accurate. I'm glad we're getting some of these stories in some form or fashion on the screen. And so I
just love how you're like rules lawyer on the stuff. Like it's not accurate, but I like it.
I mean, it's true. It's like there have been other things that were like great shows, but were bad adaptations of the source material. This is just another one of those. But the one I'm just stupidly excited for is Lord of the Rings: War of the Rohirrim, which comes to theaters in December.
So what is this?
Warner Brothers just dropped the first full trailer for this. It is a prequel to Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, and they are tying it directly with his trilogy of Lord of the Rings. It is that story of Middle Earth. But it takes place 200 years before the events of Lord of the Rings. It tells the story of Helm Hammerhand and one of his children. They're taking some liberties with the story. They're doing the whole this girl, his daughter, was mentioned in like one sentence. She doesn't even have a name, but she is the main character of this movie. It is an anime adaptation of the story of Helm Hammerhand and the Rohirrim, and it looks incredible. Like, if you haven't seen the trailer, check it out. It is really, really good. Like, I'm sure they're going to take some liberties with that because, like, the story of Helm Hammerhand is like a paragraph long. It's not really that long, but it's one of those stories that people have really wanted to see told. And I like that, like, this is directly tied to the Peter Jackson stuff. Like, he is credited as an executive producer. I don't think he really did a whole lot in terms of consulting on the movie, but him and Philippa Boyens, who were two of the producers and the head writers of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, were consulted on this. And it just looks so good. Like the stuff that they showed off looks great. You get to see Saruman. I really hope they bring Corey Burton to do his voice. He is the guy that did Count Dooku's voice in all of the Star Wars stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because he sounds exactly like Christopher Lee. So you almost can't tell the difference between the two. So I hope if they have Saruman on screen that he is the one doing the voice. I don't know. They haven't announced who's doing his voice, but we do know that Saruman is going to be in the movie in some form. So Eowyn from the Miranda Otto from the Lord of the Rings trilogy is coming back and reprising her role as Eowyn. She is the narrator of this. She's not going to be in the movie itself because it takes place 200 years before she was born. So it would be hard to have her character in the movie, but she is going to be narrating the story, like she's telling it to someone and recounting this war that the Rohirrim were involved in, 200 years before. So
is it so? Okay, I get that they're doing a prequel. Is it possible to do like anything after the events of Lord of the Rings?
I mean, they could.
Has there been any books about that or anything?
Tolkien tried to do a sequel to the Lord of the Rings, but it never got finished because he hated the story.
Oh.
He basically thought it was boring because there was just a huge era of peace with Aragorn as the king, and he was just like, none of these story ideas that I'm coming up with as a sequel to the Lord of the Rings are working. I'm sure you could do something, but there's not been any like Lord of the Rings sequel that I know of that has been done.
Okay, just one of those things I was curious about there.
So, I know
but
we
I'll
are
write
also
it myself.
We're getting a movie that I don't remember if it's a movie or a TV show. They're doing a period between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings where Gandalf and Aragorn are looking for Gollum. It's called The Hunt for Gollum. And Andy Serkis is coming back as Gollum. I really hope that Ian McKellen can somehow come back as Gandalf. Viggo Mortensen has said he would come back and do Aragorn again, but only if they do like they did with The Hobbit, where they had Ian Holm as the narrator at the very beginning of the movie as Bilbo, and then they transitioned to young Bilbo for the actual movie. Viggo Mortensen doesn't want to be Aragorn in the movie because he's too old to do that. This takes place before the Lord of the Rings. He would be much younger.
You're right. We need him to be Aragorn in a post story, a sequel to Lord of the Rings instead.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's it. There's lots of Lord of the Rings stuff coming, and I am very excited about just about all of it. So
awesome.
Is there anything else you have before we head out?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, I guess then that will be the end of the show. So thank you very much, Ethan, for being here.
Yeah. Remember to collect your soda cans so you get buffs, people.
Absolutely.
I have no explanation on that other than the Stellar Blade talk, so take that as you will.
Hopefully people listened to that part of the show so they understand the reference.
And I do apologize, we talked more movies than we did video games this time.
That's okay. We're allowed sometimes.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.